You ever dated a chick with a tramp stamp?
Yes.
I knew you would. I just knew it.
I don't date chicks that don't have tramp stamps. If you don't have a tramp stamp, I'm not dating you.
Welcome to the Cesspool Season 3. There was a time that maybe I didn't think I'd be saying that. I'm J-Fauss. I'm a washed-up fighter, I'm a washed-up rapper, and I'm soon to be a washed-up podcaster. I'm here with the Mudshark Mormon. He took time off of making interracial love to be here. Sean was on Season 2's premiere, so he just comes for the premieres and then gets canceled. He gets canceled as the show goes. And then we have the man that wants to make interracial love, but to Bobby Lashley, the Badger.
Wait, what?
Got a jam-packed show for you today. Aside from us discussing news and topics, we have a review of The Punisher that I did. We have Robo-Sean Volume 2. And then finally, we have, for the true crime fans, we're moving on to the state of Alabama. We're going to do some true crime. Okay, we're starting with the first transgender on the Playboy cover, and this is in Germany. This isn't a visual podcast. Well, I think we got Badger retching over here.
I just threw up in my mouth.
The German edition of Playboy says it'll feature a transgender model on its cover for the first time. Hugh Hefner is rolling. He's just log rolling over in his grave, right?
I would assume so, yeah.
Editor-in-chief Florian Boyton said Tuesday that putting Giuliana Farfalla on the cover, topless, as is customary for such magazines in Germany, nothing wrong with that, was in line with Playboy founder Hugh Hefner's tradition of being resolutely opposed to all forms of exclusion and intolerance. So he's saying Hugh would be all for this. It never happened while Hugh was alive, but he is all for this. Now that posthumous Hugh, he's down with this kind of shit.
I would dispute that. Hugh Hefner, he grew up in a different time, man. He put out a magazine that guys wanted to look at. You know, there was some articles in it, some interesting articles, some thought-provoking stuff, a lot of pictures of half-naked girls, mostly naked girls.
It came along at the same time you could kind of compare it to like Rolling Stone when they first came out. I mean, obviously they had new chicks, but...
Well, they would call it groundbreaking. It was kind of a groundbreaking magazine.
Thought-provoking, yeah. Might push boundaries, but what would you consider this? Because, you know, all this is pandering in a way.
Yeah, it's pandering to a PC crowd, and I don't know what they're trying to generate. If they're trying to pick up a new type of group of individuals to read their magazine, I have no idea. You're going to lose a lot of readers, though, whenever you start putting transgenders on the front of it.
Did anyone ever collect Playboys or no? I have a handful. It loses its allure as you find other stuff. I remember, I just, quick story. I remember like riding my bike one time. I was younger. I was probably 12, 13 maybe. I was riding my bike, you know, just down a road like normal. And I noticed something in the ditch. Right. So, you know, you pull over. I was with a buddy and we go, oh, what's this? And it was magazines thrown out in a ditch. Right. And they're a little withered. I think probably in hindsight, some pissed off woman found her husband's porn stash and, you know, whatever. So we go pick them up and there is hustlers, 3 hustlers and a penthouse. And then one that I can't remember what it was, but it was down, you know, it was towards the bottom on the shelf at the.
You got to keep in mind that hustlers and penthouses are a lot more exposure than Playboys.
Yeah. So we took a few of them to the treehouse. We were flipping through them, and the Playboy no longer existed in my head. I'm like, oh man, this is where it's at right here. You know,
oh yeah,
Larry Flint's the man. You know, it's like so, and especially when Playboy tried the no more nudity thing here recently.
Yeah, within the last year or so.
And then they had to resort back because, I mean, come on.
You're going to lose viewership. You're going to lose readers.
So Business Insider had famous Playboy cover models. And if any of you remember these, if you actually look at them, you probably remember them. I'm just going to read them off real quick. Mariah Carey, Chelsea Handler.
Oh, are you talking about Chelsea Handler and Mariah Carey? Or no, she looks an old, withered up, like 45, 50-year-old.
Yeah. She was real young when I looked her up. Like, I was like, but she was in Maxim and all kinds of, like, you know, she was hot. And I'm like,
Was this like back in the day or just recently she did this?
no, it was years ago.
Oh, okay. Well, I just had a picture of what she looks like today compared to. I don't know what she looks like.
Even in her 20s, she didn't look in her 20s. She looked a little bit older. Mariah Carey, it's whatever. Dolly Parton was on the cover of Playboy. Barbara Streisand was on the cover of Playboy. Suzanne Summers, she aged well. I mean, as well as her surgeon's letter. Jessica Alba, Paris Hilton. You ever into Paris Hilton?
You mean One Night in Paris?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you? God, the last thing I heard about Paris Hilton, she's getting married, right? She has like some huge.
She having a kid or something too, or
I hope not. Goldie Hawn, Charlize Theron, Lindsay Lohan. What happened? What happened, Lindsay? Denise Richards, Tara Reid. Man, you remember when American Pie first came out? Tara Reid was banging Carson Daly, which, you know, shame on her. But she had her moment, man. Kim Kardashian, Drew Barrymore. That's actually a cover. If you go look at it, it's an iconic cover. Madonna. But Madonna was showing anything she could at all times. Joan Collins, Kim Basinger, Farrah Fawcett. People used to, it was before our time, but Farrah Fawcett posters were a thing, man.
Oh, yeah. Back in the 70s, I want to say.
Naomi Campbell, Marilyn Monroe, LaToya Jackson, Jenny McCarthy. Jenny McCarthy had her moments. Carmen Electra. Number 2, Anna Nicole Smith. And they said the number 1 most iconic woman on a Playboy cover is, it's obvious after I tell you, Pam Anderson.
She had the most
covers, right?
I don't know if
Wasn't
it was
she
most
in it
covers
like
or
8
most
times?
centerfolds.
Oh, okay. She was in it like.
Oh, yeah. Multiple times she was in Playboy.
The new thing on the cesspool is Badger's big black Stetson. And we're going to randomly select topics out here in a little bit. Badger, North Korea will participate and maybe walk alongside South Korea in the Winter Olympics. They are sending over performance groups. They might have a joint women's hockey team.
Might be interesting. There's just no telling how well North Korea is going to do because people know very little about what goes on in the Hermit Kingdom.
This is very weird, though, to me, because South Korea is really in the worst. Like, Seoul is in a bad spot.
Well, if it was to come to conflict, yeah. But Seoul is one of the most successful cities over there in that region.
Oh, it's a nice city, yeah. You see pictures.
Yeah, well, and they're largely capitalist. I mean, it's just, there's a vast difference between Pyongyang and Seoul.
Yeah, well, what I'm saying is they're probably most anxious and on alert.
Yeah, I don't know how far they are from the border. What is it, like 30 miles?
I don't know if it's that, but it is close.
Yeah, it's very close.
You get into, what do they call that zone?
The demilitarized zone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, where snipers are everywhere. I'm sure that's a creepy place. I'll never know. I'm not.
Me neither. Actually, you know, the State Department actually just had a press release that stated that if anybody is going from the U.S., if any U.S. citizen is going over to North Korea, then you should already have a will and your last testament made out.
Wow. That's a hell of a trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moral of the story, don't go to North Korea.
Seoul is actually...
Seoul?
Yeah, Seoul. Seoul.
Oh, Seoul. Yeah.
Oh, Seoul.
Seoul.
It's actually 35 miles away from the DMZ.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's why they were afraid. Everyone is so afraid of having a nuclear war, any kind of conflict with North Korea, because Seoul is the first one targeted. Since they're such a huge ally in the area, that would be a base of operations for North Korea. It would be us in South Korea.
Well, they say, like, there's stories of people that travel, and, you know, Seoul's about 30 minutes away, and it goes from this these huge, nice buildings, you know, everything's so modern. It's awesome. And then 30 minutes later, it's just nothing but like rice fields and you look like you're in 1963 and, you know, like it changes drastically in that, you know, 30-ish miles or whatever. Like, would you do that if you were South Korea? Would you team up with them?
I would say it's a step in the right direction.
Politically?
Politically, yes. Because there's such tension right now with the rhetoric that's gone on between Trump and Kim Jong-un. I honestly believe that them doing this is probably going to be a very, very good thing for the area.
Russia has already been banned from it.
All their athletes got caught doping or something.
Well, they've been caught, yeah. Because even the Summer Olympics, which we'll get into, over 100 Russians had to set out Rio.
That's just crazy.
Same deal. So Channel 3000 had the biggest Olympic scandals. You can jump in. Tell me if you remember this. Now, this is Russia. Russia gets banned. That's this one. That's a big scandal. The USA swimmers get robbed.
I remember that.
We should know that. That's old Ryan Lochte.
Yeah, he got ran through the ringer for that one.
Because they lied. They made the story a little more grandiose than it was. Is that what the deal was? Lost a lot of money.
Yeah, he did. Lost all his sponsors. I don't even think he's swimming anymore. I don't think. I could be wrong, though.
Yeah, but what is he like? He's like 27, isn't that way over the hill for the Olympics? Yeah. You know, they say when you're like 7 years old, you're past your prime in gymnastics or whatever.
Well, that's only according to their...
Oh, Nasser. So over 100 Russians had to set out in the Rio Olympics. You remember the judge in figure skating that awarded the Russian over the South Korean girl? Nancy Kerrigan got clubbed. That wasn't in the Olympics, but it affected it.
They got that movie coming out called I, Tonya with...
Is that like a shitty phone?
No, it's...
Where you can quickly call some goon to...
You can beat someone up.
Club your friends. Jesse Owens. He was a black runner. He won 4 gold medals. And people were mad that he wasn't ogled over by Adolf Hitler. They said Adolf didn't give him enough praise when this happened.
I think... Didn't they do a movie on this recently, too?
Yeah.
I think originally Germany didn't want to let in the black athletes.
You think?
I don't remember. I'd have to go back and review the story, but I think that's originally how it went down. They didn't even want Jesse Owens in the Olympics there.
It's a different time, man. Jim Thorpe, he's old as fuck. He was stripped of his medals in 1912 when they found out he played pro minor league baseball. Can't do that.
Well, that's why all the big-time boxers, they hit the Olympics whenever they're in their late teens, and then they don't go pro until after they win their Olympic medal.
Like 34 years old, going pro. Because they won like 2 or 3 gold medals or whatever it is. And that was their goal, to win these gold medals and then go pro. So some of them you see go pro in their 30s. But, you know, they're badasses when they come out. You know, 600 amateur fights, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's highly prestigious to get that medal, but you don't make any money.
No. Well, sponsorship money. I mean, they say like, they said like, you know, all those Olympic girls, the gymnastics girls, and they say those girls are millionaires when they come out.
Well, they do a lot of commercials. They get their faces put on Wheaties boxes.
So you do get money. I mean, you don't technically get it.
Yeah, I meant specifically through the sport.
Like vape pens for Michael Phelps or dispensaries across the nation. Pipe bomb in Centennial Park in Atlanta. Had to have remembered that.
Yeah, I remember that.
Marion Jones surrendered her medals after 2000 Olympics after lying to federal agents. I think she was steroiding.
I vaguely remember
something
that.
PEDs. I don't know if it was steroids. But.
She was so fast. I remember watching her win those races.
Hope Solo was drunk on the Today Show, honoring her medal win. Can I just say something? Hope Solo, in those leaked nude cloud pics, is so disgusting.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I never saw him.
Arby's sandwich.
Oh.
That's like a damn train wreck. I mean, it's disgusting and horrible to look at, but you just can't take your eyes off of it.
There's a lot more than that. There's so many.
Well, keep going, Mormon. What are we doing?
Isn't she with like a black guy or something right now? Isn't that all she dates and she beats him up?
Oh, that's right. She was abusing black dudes. What kind of parallel universe is this bitch living?
A white soccer player. White soccer playing chick. A goalie at that.
She knows how to defend balls, dude.
Apparently.
And herself. Yeah, so you remember when they said the Chinese gymnastic girls were older than they were? They said they were like 12, but they're like, I think they're like 30.
That's a big disparity.
Michael Phelps got some pictures taken. He's just getting high as fuck, baby. The Blade Runner, murdering bitches.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Whatever happened to him? Does anyone know?
He got acquitted.
Of course he did.
House arrest or something right now? Or?
Pistorius? That was his name. Pistorius.
Lance Armstrong, we all know about Lance.
Yeah.
Lance, you know, what's funny is, don't you have to put Lance in that same category as Tiger Woods? Like, he was part of a sport that no one gave a shit about until that certain person was. I'm not saying no one ever gave a shit about golf, because Jack Nicklaus and stuff came around, but like cycling, I didn't hear about it before, and I don't hear about it now, but I did hear about it with Lance Armstrong.
Yeah. Well, I think he won the Tour de France like 7 times in a row.
Yeah, he's just juiced to the gills. He didn't even know he was running in it. He thought
allegedly.
Yeah, he would pull over and beat everyone's ass if they tried to pass him. Yeah, so Blade Runner murder, Lance Armstrong. 1972. This was kind of interesting. A terrorist group called Black September took 11 Israeli athletes hostage. So they said that's the biggest scandal.
Yeah, that was the Munich Olympics.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Just so they couldn't.
Yeah, which 1972 was, I believe, the last year that Dan Gable competed in the Olympics. So that was a very big deal. I think for the entire Olympic community, that hit really, really hard.
You like Dan Gable?
Yes.
Did he give you your podcast interview you asked for?
He did not.
So, in hindsight, how do you feel about Dan?
Oh, still an amazing athlete.
Hashtag fuck Dan Gable.
Nah, he was a childhood icon for me. I always enjoyed the guy's story. I grew up whenever he was coaching the University of Iowa wrestling team, and they were just beasts. He coached there for 21 years, and he won 21 Big Ten titles, 16 national championships. Nowadays, that you can't replicate that.
Mormon, Oprah for president, would you vote for? Yes?
That's a no from me, dog.
That's interesting coming from a Mormon.
Yeah, it's a black woman.
Yeah, the hard pass on the black woman.
Weird. Is this legit? Is this?
I don't think so.
You don't think? What do you think it's for? She's got her own network. Wasn't she big on the Obama?
Oh train? Yeah, she was. She was on the Obama train. She's in those mainstream media networks, even though she owns her own.
Speaking of Chicago, didn't Kanye West name?
Oh yeah, Chicago West. What, the kid came from Kylie or something?
Saint? Yeah, probably. We can get into some Kardashian talk. Man, they're all pregnant all the time. One of them's got to be pregnant all the time.
Nothing but black dudes.
Well, Blake Griffin, I don't know how the hell he finagled his way in. He's half.
Or that dude that was married to Kim for like 72 hours or 72 days.
Chris Humphries. He looks similar to Blake Griffin. They look like similar dudes. So, I mean, hey, listen. If you're half black, you might get a turn, but don't fuck it up. Or,
Yeah, you're out.
There's so many NBA players waiting. Whole roster of them, dude.
They've got a very large property with a long line of NBA players.
So, back to Oprah. This is a little ridiculous, right? I mean, Trump shouldn't even be president.
That's the only thing that makes it ridiculous is the fact that it's Oprah. The fact that we have Trump as president is what makes this legit. Anybody can be president.
What makes it a threat, you mean?
Well, whatever you want to call it. I know a lot of people don't like Trump. It's whatever.
Okay, so some of the announcements, some were tongue-in-cheek, but here's some other celebrities that have mentioned it or made a joke about it, and people just aren't sure. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, he's mentioned it more than once, and people actually think it might be legit, but I guess he has, like, movie commitments through, like, 2020, so it'd have to be 2024? Is that would be the...
Well, the election is in 2020, so he actually wouldn't be seated
he wouldn't
until...
He said he wouldn't do that one.
Yeah, well, because you have to campaign for like a year and a half now. Yeah. So that would take away from his obligations whatever contractual obligations he's in.
Yeah, because he's still doing the Fast and the Furious 48, and then he's got like a spin-off of whatever his character is. I don't remember his character.
He's like a executive production agent, but there's an actual term for it.
But he's a busy dude, man. I like his work, though. I got nothing against The Rock.
Yeah, I don't have anything against
But,
Rock.
you know, charisma can take you really far in politics, apparently. And that's scary, too. Because just because you can talk well and you have a good smile and can shake hands.
It's a big popularity contest now. Because look who we get for presidents. You know, Barack Obama. You know, he was charismatic. People loved him. The idea of the first black president, it's a great thing.
Yeah. Do you remember, and I don't know if Mormon, you were old enough, and I don't even know if it happened to you, but I remember it. You remember when Bush was president and we would randomly get checks? Just give us hundreds of dollars.
I don't think I ever randomly got checks.
Stimulus check?
I never got one.
Stimulus package and whatnot. And
Yeah, me neither. I was just,
what were you doing to get these checks, Jim?
yeah, we're not going to talk about it. But, yeah, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. You never got stimulus checks from Bush?
I did not.
Man, I didn't. You know what? I didn't see him with Obama. I get why Democrats don't like Trump. Shit could get really sketchy here soon, so I get it. Chris Rock kind of said tongue in cheek. I don't think anyone would. Kanye West said it. You remember, probably just for promotion. Ron Perlman.
Oh, good Lord.
The Hellboy guy.
Yeah.
Actor.
And his slogan was vote Pearl or go to hell. Will Smith, Angelina Jolie, Ben Affleck, who is fairly serious about it, I guess.
Yeah, Ben Affleck has got his own problems with the Me Too movement.
Well, Ben Affleck, if he was going to run, he might not now.
Well, yeah, but think about who we've had. Bill Clinton.
It was, you know,
Donald Trump.
Well, the Ben Affleck thing was funny because he came out in support of the Me Too movement. Like, we can't be treating women like this. And then the guy on Walking Dead who plays Negan, I forget his name, his actual name, his wife, there's pictures of her getting felt up by Ben Affleck. And he's like, whoa.
Yeah, he was just trying to...
Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Yeah, Jeffrey Dean Morgan came out and was like, whoa, you're a scumbag too, dude. Calm down.
No. See, Ben Affleck was trying to get out ahead with the Me Too movement because he knew these pictures were coming.
Oh, he said me too. I do that shit too.
Yeah, that's what he meant.
Harass women? Me fucking too. Yeah. Roseanne, I doubt that's going to happen. Howard Stern, George Clooney. This one's kind of interesting because Fran Drescher.
She's got that real annoying voice.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a real voice or that's just a working voice, but she's talking about Senate and then wants to go past that.
Oh, okay. So she is... I don't even know why I thought she was an immigrant.
No, it's because you're racist.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Ashley Judd.
No.
Winona Judd.
No to Judd.
Naomi Judd.
No to Naomi Judd.
Judd Apatow.
No, definitely no to Judge Apatow.
Judy.
She's kind of hot. I'd vote for her.
Yeah,
And a
MILF
bitch.
in it. Yes, GILF.
Yeah, I was going to say MILF.
Yeah, that's
GILF in
why
it.
I thought for a second. I'm like, yeah. And Tim McGraw has thought about getting into government office. What's your favorite Tim McGraw song, Mormon?
You know, it's got to be looking for black hawks, driving me crazy. Here with a field of corn.
All right, the rest of the show is just us singing fake Tim McGraw songs, so
What the hell just happened here?
we'll be right back.
Listen to the cesspool, the cesspool. Listen to the cesspool, the cesspool. Listen to the cesspool, the cesspool. Listen to the cesspool.
Do you think,
the
I guess my
cesspool.
question to you is, Greiton's supposedly had some extra marital affairs.
Yeah, I don't think that's being disputed. I think that he's admitted that he's had some misgivings whenever it comes to his relationship.
Nothing new. I mean, it's happened in like Virginia or South Carolina. I mean, it happens all the time, right?
Nearly all these politicians are embroiled in it.
My question to you is, do you care as long as they do their job well? Or do you think if you're in that position and you cheat that you should have to get out? Just you personally.
Me personally, I think that whenever we elect our politicians, we want to hold them to the highest standard possible.
Okay.
Well, yeah, which means that there are certain moral codes that we ask you to adhere to. We want you to put your best foot forward, because if you're likely to cheat on your spouse or to be abusive or to be a criminal, then more than likely you're going to carry these characteristics with you into an office of power. And you have a lot of influence over laws. You have a lot of influence over business. You control a lot of different things that go on within the political realm.
Mormon, do you care if the president or someone in a place of power cheats on their other, or would you just like them to do a good job? Or does it go hand in hand?
I mean, I don't really care what they do. Just don't get up there on that platform and, families first and everything, and this is what you go off and do. Other than that, I don't care what you do.
Well, that's true, yeah. I mean, they're not on the cover of any Girls Gone Wild videos or nothing. But.
Yeah. But he highlights a very key point, is there is a lot of them that do that exact same thing, and then they get embroiled in some scandal, I can't tell you how many Republicans have been caught up in it, but there's a lot of Democrats that do it too. So it's not just a conservative or a liberal thing. It's human nature, But these people, they do this stupid shit to the point now where it's commonplace. It's commonplace with all these politicians to be out screwing around with their interns or, their secretaries or whoever else is around them that looks good and can give them the type of mental satisfaction that they need. And, it's sickening.
So you would like them to keep it in their pants if they get elected?
I would like them to keep it in their pants, but that's just not a political reality at this point.
You got to understand, whether it be the Me Too thing or whatever, these people get in power sometimes and their judgment gets a little cloudy. Back to what I was talking about, Republican Steve Alford, who's 75 in Kansas, he's opposed to the legislation of cannabis, and he claims that African Americans are susceptible to becoming addicted to marijuana because of their genetics. It didn't go over well.
I would imagine not. Is there any kind of scientific evidence to back up what he's saying?
Yeah.
More than likely not.
Bill Nye came out with a...
Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill.
Are you okay? No, he said blacks are basically users and responded worse to drugs because their characters and their genetics and that.
Sounds pretty scientific.
And he apologized for it. He didn't mean that shit.
Okay.
He also stepped down from his chairmanship of the Kansas House Committee.
He's so fucking old.
Yeah, he's like 60 years. So.
75. Okay, so I've been coming across a lot of articles lately. I didn't know anything about it. It's called micro-cheating, and I guess it's ripping apart certain couples. And the funny part of it is, now with social media and other things, relationships, people are breaking up like if you laugh at a girl's joke or if you like their tweet or if you like their post, your significant other's like, if you like that post, that's micro-cheating.
That's a little over the top.
Now, there's certain forms of it, whether you laugh at their joke or something like that. But there's also, if you just hug them or give them a little smooch, micro-cheating. Now, granted, you wouldn't want your, girlfriend or wife or anything just going around, kissing people, I wouldn't think. But
some cucks like it.
I don't know. It's a thin line. But what I'm saying is I found this micro-cheating. And fucking something like Cosmopolitan comes out with, and we're 2.5 men here, and we want to look up all these signs of when we're micro cheating. So you name it, and I'll go through. Do you do that? Do you would that be micro cheating? So go ahead, Bad.
Okay, number 1, he has a female friend he texts like they're in a romantic committed relationship and the wooing process has begun.
I don't have a chick that
I don't, but there's this chick I was talking to because we go to probation together.
Do you guys have flirty conversations through text?
No, she's friends on Facebook with me.
Uh-oh. Okay, go ahead.
Nothing flirty there?
I'd get down.
Number 2. You've legit watched him flirt with girls when you're out places and it made you feel like a psycho.
Do you flirt with girls when you go out, Mormon?
I mean, every restaurant.
Okay,
I go
move
to,
on. We know you're fucking micro cheating like a motherfucker.
They get my number. It changed recently, so all you people that passed up, I'm making a
We
comeback.
have to take you back around the horn.
a round trip.
Just one bar.
We have to go back to Caddyshack and be, hey, bitch, this is the new.
Can I have your number?
Sean's fucking micro cheating like crazy, man.
Number 4, his Snapchat is full of open messages from tons of women you don't recognize.
I don't have a Snapchat.
Oh, I've got a Snapchat. Let me pull that up real quick.
No, okay.
I don't have a Snapchat.
Even though I do know people personally that use their Snapchat.
Let me see. This other chick messaged me last Thursday.
This is micro cheating at its finest.
You do know your girl's going to listen to this show, right?
She has no clue I do this, and I'll never tell her what it is.
No, no one does. This is secretive shit.
Yeah. Number 5, his friends didn't know you guys were dating for eons.
I mean, I don't tell people I'm dating some.
No,
chick.
well, especially not if you're hound dog and everything. Why would you?
Yeah.
Number 7, he always seems to be making friends with new women whose names you only hear him mention occasionally and know nothing about.
Do you guys ever did they put women in your phone as under dudes' names?
Oh, I got this other merchandiser I work with. That's what he does.
I did that a long time ago, yeah.
I'm going to podcast with Badger means I'm going to go fuck the shit out of this other chick.
Yeah.
You're podcasting 24/7.
Well, it's a very long, throbbing show. We just got to pump this internet full of...
Takes me a while to finish that show.
Yeah. Number 8. If you hear him say this girl he just met is incredible one more time, you're going to have to check his apartment for thongs.
I think we just did number 8 twice. Is that...
Sean's drunk and micro cheating out of his mind, so there we go.
Oh, number 7, 8 look almost exactly the same.
Why would you talk about other chicks with your chick? That's poof.
Well, I mean, if you're comfortable talking about so-and-so...
Like an open relationship type thing? Or?
No, not open relationship. If she's truly just a friend, then you have no issues.
It's open on your end.
I'm always open.
Number 9. He's become the worst person ever at texting you back, but when you're together, you see him texting as much as a bored tween on a Sunday.
Yeah, she texts me a lot, and I hate it.
But you always respond to me whenever I text you.
Yes, Daddy.
All right, what's the last couple? Rack them off.
You micro-cheating fuck.
Yeah, we're pretty much...
Number 10
Someone's guilty here.
His Facebook wall seems to be just a slew of women flirting with him, and he doesn't seem to mind one bit.
Nah, I've seen his Facebook wall.
I just got posts of dogs and puppies.
Ooh.
If they want some, they can get some.
Number 11, when you go out with a friend group to a bar, sometimes he sits next to some other girl and never mentions that that's a little weird.
Okay, well, this article's a little strange, but
that sounds weird.
The one thing I get out of this is Sean is fucking micro-cheating the fuck.
Hey, maybe I'll run for mayor of Gladstone.
All right, boys, you've seen like the new... they were kind of saying it's condoms, but it's kind of like an eye condom, a smart condom. But it's you put it around the base of your dick. But I would like to throw down, if anyone wants to do it, and I'm talking about listeners versus podcasters here, a Cesspool Fuck challenge. And they only say this because this new device, it is smartphone capable, and it judges you by your girth, by your thrusting speed, and your partner's, and time and everything. Like, everything gets judged. This thing can also track and notify you of STDs. Everything. But it basically judges you on everyone else that's using this device across the world.
That's okay.
And I think there's like a star rating or a ranking girls can put in there for you. It almost makes you like think like 50 years from now, if this kind of shit's happening right now, like it didn't just be, you know, judged on girls that are like, oh, he's small or he doesn't last long. There is going to be scientific fucking evidence that you are tiny dicked and are a minute man. Yeah. And that is fucking crazy.
And it's going to be on the web for the world to see.
Forever. Yeah. And then your son can go, have my old man do, 2.1 stars.
Guess what?
He wasn't girthy.
Your dad's fucking tiny.
Yeah. It's crazy, but this is going to be a fucking thing.
Yeah, I don't think this is good.
So, if anyone out there wants to challenge anyone on the cesspool, we're going to have to Badger's already got new prospects.
New prospects.
You're getting texted by new prospects. During this podcast, if you want to go against Sean, who's just plowing his black chick, you want to go against me, I guess I'll put the saddle on again and do it. If you want to end John Sprague's long celibacy, we'll do it.
Does that celibacy need to be broken?
It really doesn't. But it's whoever you want to go against.
Have you ever seen two walruses have sex?
Not lately.
It's disgusting.
Will Aaron put down his comic book and lay pipe? I don't know. Challenge any of us.
Is John doing this celibacy thing voluntarily or because no one wants to?
Involuntarily
Involuntary celibacy. That poor bastard.
Here's the only problem. The eye condom, I think is what it is called. It is $80.
$80.99.
Is this thing reusable? Or do you got to buy a new $80 condom every time?
No, I believe it's reusable.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of like the portable vaginas.
Fleshlights?
Okay. Yeah, you remember, do a lot of people remember like when Rogan's podcast was early on? All you heard about was fleshlights. It wasn't onit.com and, Nature Box or whatever the fuck. It was like Joe Rogan going, yeah, fleshlights or whatever. It's like, fuck. You know how they like... famous porn stars have dildo molds.
Oh, yeah.
Full Fleshlights was like, took molds of women's vaginas. So you could like, and one of the first ones I remember is like, fuck Jenna Jameson, which, God, that's a long list by now, but yeah, no shit. Like, you put your leg in it or something?
This looks like a tube sock. I actually stick my penis in this.
So no, it's tongue in cheek, the Cesspool Fuck challenge. But I just thought it was interesting that this is like, seriously, in 50 years, you're going to be judged. And I'm not talking about us, but I mean, like if you're in high school, I could see this being very prevalent. Like, oh man, Johnny took me around the bleachers and 5-starred me or whatever. You know what I mean?
The star quarterback's like a 1.0.
Yeah. So your prediction is within the next 20, 25 years, high schoolers will be sex shaming their peers.
I do.
I can see it. Yeah, with this. I mean, if you're gonna.
All right.
Would you be willing to do it?
I doubt it, just because you
ain't got nothing.
Well, my prowess stays behind the bedroom door.
Sean, you do it?
Sure, I'll do
it. Someone challenges Sean. He's doing it. He's gonna hop on the metro, pick a victim, and
let's go. Listen, bitch.
Hey, honey.
You're gonna get this 6-star tonight, you fucking bitch.
Yeah, I got a bus pass. Want to fuck?
Yeah, I can get you home.
Yeah. My EBT gets you some ramen. But yeah, I just think it's crazy. By the time we pass away, it's going to be way weird.
It's weird how we apply our technology to certain things. Cesspool Fuck challenge. Cesspool Fuck challenge. Cesspool Fuck challenge. Cesspool Fuck challenge.
What are your things on like those robot sex things, companions or whatever?
Yeah. Oh, how people are marrying them in Asian countries. They're marrying their sex doll. But they said that's because... What is the statistic in like China or something? There's like... Isn't it something staggering? Like there's like 60 more million women in there or something. I don't know if it's 60 more women. But the ratio is crazy.
I thought it was Japan that had the wild numbers.
Oh, was it? Okay. Well, one of those countries over there, the ratio is crazy. And there's not enough... Well, there's too many women is what it is.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Japan.
So you know, Japan is a lot of makers of these sex dolls because they're trying to combat this. Well, you know, combat the problem. Women are like really kind of fought for because there's not as many of them. Your rating on the eye condom has to be pretty fucking good.
Yeah, to get a real Japanese wife.
Yeah, a real
not a fake one.
But like you said, like, I know it might sound a little bit creepy. I mean, who really wants to buy a $10,000 one? But I can't lie to you. I'd like a go on it just to see what's up. Yeah. You can't rent those, right? That'd be creepy, right? Like a Blockbuster of sex toys. Hey, maybe 5 nights for $85 or whatever.
Family sex doll rental.
And then they gotta like,
we're a family store.
They gotta take a hose to them afterwards.
Oh, power washer.
Yeah, like
maybe PBR downtown will have replace the bowl with one of those sex dolls.
That would be good.
What the hell?
Put your quarter in and go.
You got 2 minutes. I only need 30 seconds, buddy.
But no, they're crazy, man. Like the ones they're getting to the point where they can talk back to you with AI.
Oh, they'll learn everything, like stuff about you as days and time goes on. And
what about you, Badger? You up for that?
No.
Just climb off your cousin, the one that you've been fucking, and listen to this Alabama cry. Roll Tide!
Badger, it is Cesspool true crime time again.
Again?
We finished Alaska.
Where do we go now?
We're going to Alabama.
Alabama. I'm ready. Hit me with it.
We go to Alabama, 1984. A man walks into a guest service station to rob it. But that's not all this inbred motherfucker does. Hell no. He decides to murder 4 people. The owner, an employee, and 2 customers that were husband and cousin or wife or fuck who knows in Alabama. Roll Tide. Thomas Fortenberry screamed out at his victims while he was blasting warm pieces of hate from his weapon. Thomas left the scene of the crime and disposed of the weapon. 8 months would pass and Thomas was happier than a pig wallowing around in copious amounts of mud and shit. But around this time, a nosy resident who was walking the banks of Black Creek found a pistol. Was the murder weapon of Thomas the hillbilly? Who the fuck knows, but probably. Well, anyway, this snitching narc takes the pistol to the cops like any good little bitch would. The pistol was missing the grips, so no fingerprints could be used. The piglets would eventually trace the pistol back to a gun repair store that Thomas Fortenberry's father owned. Then the swine were able to secure statements from people that knew Thomas, owned the gun, and had seen him with it before. The loose lips are flapping in Alabama. At 10 months after the murder, the popo bring Thomas in for questioning. Thomas couldn't keep his story straight and kept changing details. He gave 3 different accounts of what happened that day. The first story was that he was riding in his brother's truck with a stolen pistol and they came across 2 guys in the woods who were smoking that good shit and pounding back some brews. After they got done reenacting scenes of deliverance, they decided to ride into town together. They pull up to the gas station because they were out of Schlitz. One of the men from the woods was passed out from exertion, so the other went in and robbed the place while Thomas sat in the truck. Then supposedly the man who robbed the gas station gave him back the murder weapon days later, and that's when he freaked out and threw it around Black Creek. The second story he told later in the day changed pretty drastically. He said he went to the store to rob it for gambling money when he saw 2 people outside, so he shot them. Then he went inside and shot the employee and got $240, which in Alabama you could easily retire off of, and then he left. On his way back to his green Chevy, he saw a woman running away, so fuck it, he shoots her and kills her also. He then proceeded to a pool hall so he can be seen and have an alibi for the murders. Then his third story he told the next day was very much like the second one, just with even more detail. He then said he lied about the men in the woods shooting or killing anyone, but the deliverance parts were real. At the trial, Thomas Fortenberry would plead not guilty, saying he didn't murder anyone, but he did roll tide. Eventually, the jury would convict Thomas on 4 murders and also found him guilty of rolling tide. For his final meal before his execution, Fortenberry requested shrimp. It was not available in the prison kitchen because the state of Alabama can't afford such delicacies. So instead, he got to eat snacks from the vending machine as his final meal. No final words were his ironically last words before he got put out to pasture. So that is ironic, though. What's your last words No last words. What the fuck, Thomas? Those are words, man.
Good job, stupid.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.